Welcome to the Quality AI Audit Manager Winter Release webinar, and thanks very much for taking time out of your day to join us. My name is Scott Harvey, and I'll be the moderator today. We'll look at the full agenda shortly, but just quickly, today we'll talk about our new features and other product improvements, of course. It's always nice to see additional value added to the solution that you don't have to pay extra for. So as any good web-based product or a cloud-based product should be. But part I think you'll love is something that's really a hot topic right now, and that is how exactly do we ensure enterprise quality when AI is involved? In other words, how do we make sure that our system is not only accurate and has hallucinations filtered out, things like that, but that the results are repeatable? So keep watching and we'll tell you all about LUQA. Just a little housekeeping here before I turn it over to Karesz. You'll see the Q&A area to click on to submit questions. And depending on the volume of questions and how complicated they are, we'll answer what we can live at the end of the webinar. And anything we don't have time to answer, we'll follow up with a detailed response. And we'll send the responses to everybody that's on the webinar, because if you're like me, you'll see a number of questions asked that you might want to know the answers to as well. So we're recording, of course, as I said, and we'll send that out and the slides out to you once they're finished processing and we upload it and all that. All right. I am very pleased to introduce Karoly Kali, or Karesz, as many people know him. Hi, Karesz.
Hi, and welcome. I'm very excited to be here again.
Excellent. Well, Karesz is a quality expert with many years of experience on the plant floor, as you can see here. If you've been on some of our previous events, you may remember we've been working closely with him for some time now. And we really had a great connection from the start, because we could tell that he had real world experience on the plant floor, and it wasn't just, theory he was talking about. So we're fortunate to have him today to walk us through everything. And most importantly, for me always, is to demonstrate how the product works in the real world. So then the agenda here, let's see, yeah. So this is what we'll cover today. I don't want to take your time by reading it, since I already mentioned it a little bit earlier, but the one thing that I would spotlight just again real quick, even if you take nothing else away from this webinar, is where you see the AI accuracy bullet here in the middle. And it's very critical in enterprise adoption of AI. And it really goes far beyond our solution. So I think it's a good mental framework to have for the future, even in other areas of responsibility you might have. So I guess that's it. And Karesz, you have the floor.
Thanks, Scott. So I'm going to start off with something I just remembered. The date is 2017. I was working as a quality manager in an automotive supplier plant in Romania. And it was about 3:70 in the morning when my phone rang. Now, when your phone rings at 3 a.m. in our industry, it's never good news, right? So it was our logistic manager actually, and said, Karesz, we have a problem. The customer just rejected the entire shipment. So they are really saying that we missed in our product audits a critical dimension, and they want to have a full investigation by Monday. This was actually Thursday. Well, it was already Friday. I dragged myself out of bed, made myself the strongest coffee, although I'm not a coffee drinker. And I started to pull together all the audits, all the product audits we had. And I started to see a pattern emerging. We had been auditing. We've been doing, I think, over 100 audits, and even covered 3 or 4 times this product. But we never seen that we have this issue, and it never came up in any of our reports. So how is that even possible? So what I discovered basically in that brutal weekend, was that we need a system, and we need somehow to get all this information automatically by like a co-auditor or anything else. And actually, This is what I will gonna show you today during our live demonstration of our new features, what we bring up or also additional to already presented in our summer release. So here we talk about product lifecycle. We're going to talk about characteristics, so how we can audit, and this you will see it's very interesting because we had many requirements from our customers to be able to do in-process audit, so that means product by product, and also characteristic by characteristic, because sometimes you want to audit one product and audit all the characteristic on one single product. So we'll be able to do that, and I'm going to show it to you just in a couple of minutes. Also, the scoring, which is also possible to do it in any way. Now we have the VDA 6.5 scoring implemented, and you could see how that really works. And yeah, just a couple of more ideas on that. Also, the scoring agent will be able to set up in a way that it helps you, like it would help me in 2017. It didn't because it was too long ago. But nevertheless, it would help you to analyze immediately and find patterns as we usually do it, and already presented it previously, but now you're going to see again in effect how our system is really working to find patterns between the different systems, with the different audits. And switching over to system audits, because this is, let's say, only one part of the story, and we want to switch over to the system audits. Back then in 2017, in that early morning, well, actually in the weekend when I was presenting to the customer, I did realize that our system has also issues because we have faulty processes described in our quality management system, where we don't see the benefits of doing all these audits if we don't take the necessary results from the last 100 meters. So what we did with our System Audit Compliance Agent, shortly SACA, is to have like a co-auditor, a virtual auditor, as you want to call it, a second auditor, which will help you to be there 24/7 and do a lot of things. A lot of things meaning, of course, save time and all that. But what we really went after is to really support the auditor. Because the auditor has the eyes, goes in the shop floor, sees the non-conformities, but the question comes what he does with those non-conformities, how he formulates it, how those non-conformities get to have any action afterwards. So this is exactly what we did to support 100% the auditor. The auditor should have all the necessary resources automatically, that he don't have to do the report, he don't have to do the sitting down. This is what I really hated when I was an auditor. After 1 week of audit, of system audit, I had to sit down, look over my notes, had to check what I was thinking at that moment when I wrote that note down to be able to put it in the report. And this took me a lot of time. Plus, there was a lot of missed information, which I could not remember exactly. So what we did is exactly that, to help the auditor not just reformulate any non-conformity or any finding during the audit, but also classify it to the right chapter from the standard. We have the standard in the back. Actually, you can upload any standard. But at the moment, I will show you with IATF how this works. But it will reformulate to how the standard requires. Then after reformulation, we have also tell you which chapter from the standard this non-conformity belongs which is also takes up a lot of the auditor's time to put it to the right chapter. This even happens with the most experienced auditors because this can be subjective. It can go to one or two different chapters. So we made life easy, and we with the agent will do that for you. But that's not all. The agent goes even further. It will analyze the nonconformity and suggest you actions. So you will not walk away just by simply having, okay, this is the finding, I reformulated it, but you can have immediate actions right from the get-go. You can start implementing them and not wait until further analyzing and further meetings are done. This is especially helpful when you have a corporation with multiple sites and one person goes from one side to the other to audit, and after they after they press the report to finish the report, they get all this information already, so the plant who was audited can start working. As many times I explain, and this is also quite misunderstood in quality, that audits are a tool for improvement and not a punishment. So basically, you have to start with the right information. And if you have the right information provided you by the agent, which looks over the data, then you can start up on a good foot and with already real experiences. So Scott has mentioned about LUQA and had told you that if you would live with just this information, then it would be already very valuable. So here on the slides, you will find a lot of information. I'm not gonna read. I just want to say that this tool is making the basis of what we call AI in our tool, because AI is very simplified to call it. It's like when you say digitalization, it means a lot. When you say, okay, using AI, then it means much more in our case. And basically, you will not just getting the same AI what you would get with any large language model. You will get much more, and this is described here. So basically, in plain language, is that first of all, two topics, because a lot of our customers or where we do our demos, they ask us, okay, and what is the difference if I put this information in ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any other large language model? I mean, I always say you can do that, but I wouldn't do it instead of you, because there are information which are confidential and you don't want to put it on the internet, first of all. And second of all, we all know that all of these large language models have hallucinations. And you can reduce those hallucinations by having a multi-level filtering of the information. And exactly this is what LUQA is doing. And with this multi-stage secure AI architecture designed for accuracy and repeatability. That's what it's also of the description. But basically, this is what it does. You have security of your data in a closed environment, in a secure way, and plus you have the benefit of filtering out on different levels the information that what gets back to you is really what you need, and not some kind of a hallucination which is filled up with different information which the AI exactly could not figure out what it is. So a couple of these examples, where you can do this. Of course, we do it in the daily audit, so we can compare historical data, and we know that AI specifically is very good at looking for patterns, recognizing patterns and comparing them and giving you back the information that you can very fast act upon different information what you have already have in your database, but there is nobody to analyze the amount of data you collect day by day. Control plan recommendations, customer claims. You can correlate your audit findings with customer complaints, what you had or you are having actually, to see where did you miss something and where can be an audit done better, and which are the reoccurring patterns which maybe you did not see, and that's why the complaint occurred. Or prevent complaints by having all this information available. So basically, we are going from reacting, going with the fire extinguisher, like I was in 2017, 3 a.m. in the morning, going with the fire extinguisher to kill out the fire, working the complete weekend to make all the reports. We're going from this stage to the preventive way, that it gets you all the information what you need in order to be as effective as possible. That being said, I don't like to waste anybody's time, so let me share my other screen here, and let's jump into giving some examples from the tool and not just talking and talking. So talking is also nice, but it doesn't help us with. Okay, so we are here now in the tool, and I will show you a couple of elements from the tool. First of all, as I told you about product audits, let's start with that, and then we work ourselves around system audits and also show you something cool besides that. Okay, so I will jump on my phone for this. Scott, you need to confirm me that everything is running okay and you can see, because I will not be able to see you. I'm only going to be able to see my phone. So just a second here to share my screen. Takes a couple of seconds until this loads. Okay, now it's supposed to work. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. Is that correct, Scott?
Yep, looks great.
Perfect. So let's take a product audit. I have some overdue here in my system. So let's take one. And I'm going to basically explain on the product audit checklist, and then we go back to the system. I'm going to show you what's inside. So we have here, we added this navigation feature, which is very nice and very helpful. You will see why. We have here 4 different questions. We have characteristics, and we also have like a checklist question. So first question we have is the drawing version status, if this is okay, if we can visually check if the drawing is at the latest revision. We can say pass or fail. We can add notes. Drawing at the latest revision. I didn't use the right language, as it looks like. So I can draw it out. It was interesting. It did use a different language. So we can add notes, we can add pictures. I'm just going to go to the next characteristics. And here, what's already important. So we have dimension 1, we have the specification, we have the sample size set at 3, but we have the possibility to say, okay, we just want to go product by product, and on each product, we want to check all the characteristics. So that means if I go now to sample 1, and I say, okay, this has the dimension 35, which is okay. I can again add photos, add notes. This is all possible. I'm going to show you later on that. I go to the next characteristic, which is, as you can see, 60 plus minus 3. In this case, I'm going to add also for this first sample. And here I'm going to say 64. Whoops, that's a failure. Okay, so it's out of spec. So the problem length too long. Containment action necessary. Yes, we can add a containment action, describe problem. Check the available stock. In the warehouse, of course. I will get myself this action and the deadline. We want to do it today because it's very urgent. So I can go to the last question, but actually I now want to check my second product. So I'm going to jump back to the first dimension and I'm going to say, okay, let's take the second product. And here, let's say I have 36. That's okay. Then go to the next one here. I can go with the second product. You can see already where I'm going with this. You can go product by product, or you can say, for example, I have a microscope setup where I want to measure a specific dimension and I want to measure it on 10 samples. Then I can just put in 10 samples and I can measure all the 10 samples, put in the results, and then go to the next characteristics. So both ways are possible. That's the idea. So you can use it for doc audits, you can use it for product audits. Anything is possible from going from one or the other direction. So I'm going to go back to the second one. Let's see, this one is on the nominal. Next. And here actually it forces me to upload a picture. So I took a picture actually from some boxes in the production. So I'm just going to upload it and say, okay, these are my packaging. And for me, this is okay. The packaging is according to the specifications, so I can end the audit. So you can see how easy is that. Of course, I have immediately the report, which I can review what I have done. So these are all of our informations or findings marked with red here at the L2. I have some deviation, length too long, okay. Then I have my picture. I can zoom in, I can check it, okay. So that looks great. So in the meantime, our Insight Analyze agent is doing his job. What it does is compares these results with my previous audits, and it will give me, besides the result of this audit, it will give me also the comparison, and here it is. It will also give me the comparison to previous audits. Let's jump back to my laptop for that. Perfect. And now we can go to the reports and find exactly this specific audit. So this was our product audit, which let us check if this was it. We can see it also by the picture what we took. So this was exactly our audit. And we have the scoring 75%. At the moment is the VDA 6.5 scoring. And I'm going to show you what is possible in the background. So what is under the hood, let's say. And yeah, so we have, of course, the nonconformity. Also, we have the suggestions from our agent, what we should do, because we have one finding, one nonconformity. And also how this compares to previously done audits. You can see some audits done previously with what results. And we get key patterns and trends. What I told you about that I don't have to have sleepless nights and weekends. I have it immediately once I perform any audit. So I have immediate risks and all additional information. What should I do in the next 4 hours, immediate, the same day, short term. So you see where this is going. So you get a lot of this information just by inputting the data, performing the audit, and in a couple of seconds, you have your co-auditor which works on steroids with much more coffee than I drink, usually provide you with all this data immediately. So this was product audit. But before we jump onto the system audit, I just wanted to show you in the templates what is behind this. So we can go to product audit checklist. We will unpublish it and we're going to edit the template. And we see that each of these has also a severity ranking. So basically, this is according to VDA 6.5. You add the severity ranking, what severity will have on the final product if this characteristic is not met. So you see here we have this ABC type severity ranking, and this is taking in consideration when, and also the sample size, of course, when the evaluation is calculated and the final scoring is received. So this is, everything is possible and it's already programmed in the background, but you get to select, depending on your characteristic, on your product audit, what type of severity rank you want to add. Okay, so jumping to system audit, where we did totally other things because it's another approach, it's another type of audit. And I'm going to show you, actually, why don't we do a system audit, an on-schedule system audit? Let's do that. So let's start. Yeah, this normally takes a lot of minutes, but we're going to do it very fast, just for us. And okay, so here we are also getting a lot of questions, but here we already have the questions organized by different processes. Of course, our process according to business process model. So we have here a couple of IT related questions for the IT process, to the HR, manufacturing quality, and process quality management. So we have from many areas. I'm going to walk very fast over them, and at one point I'm going to add a non-conformity. So let's say, how does the organization ensure IT system maintain the confidential customer product information? Okay, we can say standard conform. What backup recovery measures exist? So here we can say we have a problem. The backup server is located in the same room with the main server. Yes. Relocate the backup server. Okay, here we need more time because this is a bigger action. So yeah. Yeah, right, it's correct. Our training needs identifying employees who work effective product conformity. Okay, we can say this is okay. On the job training, so here I would say a minor deviation. Here I have training, which actually, so the auditor just write down this: training not performed according to the training plan. Two, not audits, trainings were missed. And yes, containment action, or we can say no, and then he will ask us why not. Let's see, check what is SACA saying. Okay. Then manufacturing process, this we're gonna do conform, that I get to the end. Ooh. Quality is all okay. Yes, yes. Good. And we're going to go to the reports and wait for the inside agent to do his job. And what will be interesting here, what we did is actually, this is what the auditor wrote down. And this is where I was at, and I think I had an interruption on my internet, that we had two trainings which were missed. And this is all what he wrote down. But actually, we need more information in order to give it as a non-conformity. We need correct formulation according to the standard. We need to which chapter from the standard this information belongs to, and actually maybe to help us what we should do in this case as immediate action. So this is actually what our inside agent is doing now, checking the data behind the system. So that means in this case, the IATF. And he will generate us a report. It'll just take a couple of seconds. And while he's doing that, I'm going to put the AI to for more, let's say, difficulty. I'm going to ask to help me with evaluating a document, a standard, which you can do at any point. So you have a requirement from your customer, and you want to analyze how you can evaluate that information. So I will gonna upload, let's say, CQI information. So here we have CQI 15. This is for the welding process. And I would like to have some questions in an LPA format that I can perform an LPA. So while my other agent is working on the finalizing the report, I give him another task here and upload the document. I'm going to show you also in the meantime the document. Just a second here. I'm going to pull up the document, and you're going to see it's quite CQI 15. Okay, so you can see it's a 50-page document, which he had to go through. And as you can see, besides that, we already have the evaluation. So this took a couple of seconds, and you're already good to go to perform LPA regarding this specific standard. So here you have 10 questions with the specific section and also the scoring, what we have previously defined. So, and you can go even deeper with that. So let's jump back to our reports. In the meantime, let's see what our other agent was up to. So we have the inside analysis already, as you can see, with a lot of positives. We have a deviation, and here it explains you why it matters in plain language. So what are the risks? You can see that you get a lot of information based on just a couple of words, basically one sentence, what the auditor wrote down. So he will get immediately here the training competencies, what training competence requirements from IATF, this clause were touched, 7.2 and specifically 7.2.2. And immediate actions and so on. So you will here have a lot of information, but I want to show even more that because here we have a report. And what we have done is inside each question where we have a non-conformity, we installed a specific agent that just looks on this. What I told you, it reformulates the non-conformity. It tells us which standard is applicable. What is the significance of this result to our organization? And it immediately gives us the immediate containment action and short-term root cause analysis and systematic corrective action when it has to be done, verification of effectiveness and how I should do it, customer and product safety assessment, and closure and evidence requirement. So this is just on the specific finding, non-conformity. I get all this information, actionable steps, what I can do immediately after this one is realized. So I'm not gonna keep more. I'm just gonna say a couple of information additionally. We had in Hungary in 2025, and the second part or end of the year, we had a conference, which is a European quality, basically supplier quality conference where a lot of companies take part. And one of our customers who was using QualityAI had a presentation, and these are just a couple of benefits what he has noticed. You can see different time benefits, what problems he solved with this tool. And actually, in order to not to keep you more and try to get also to the questions, we're going to share also the link. We have the video from the conference with the slides from presentations available on our website, and we're going to share you the link together with this video, so you will get to have the chance to analyze all this information to see how this works in real life. We didn't pay him to do it; he did it by himself. He wanted to show how actually QualityAI supported him in his work. So we just want to share with you actual live situations. What can it help you with? So let's jump to the questions.
All right. Perfect. That was just a great run through, Karesz. Glad you could introduce everybody to LUQA there, but also just seeing it live. Just every time I see it, how fast I can digest all of that information. It's some pretty good stuff. So we are really trying to stay on schedule here. So we've got a bunch of questions. We'll just get to the first few. As I mentioned before, everything that we got, we will send back out. We'll answer in detail, and then we'll send back out to everybody on the webinar. So anything we don't get to. But without further ado, first question is from Alexander, and he asked, how can we try the solution? So we offer a 30-day trial where we completely configure for one or two audits of your choice, like an LPA, Gimbal Walk, 5S, or similar. And it's a cloud-based solution. It's designed primarily to work on your mobile phone without ever downloading an app or anything else, so you don't have to install anything on site or on your device or deal with any of that. We can usually get your first fully usable audit up and running, real production. I mean, just working in 1 or 2 hours. So it's pretty impressive. And you know what? Actually, we'll keep answering questions until for a few more minutes here, but there's a bunch. So in case anybody needs to leave, Karesz, do you want to put up the slide with the? There you go. Okay, perfect.
I already did. You can see it. I think it's okay.
Yeah, no? Perfect. Okay, so let's see. The next one is from Zoltan, and he said, with the intended release of the 2026 update of IATF 16949, will you be able to accommodate the new specification? And Karesz, this is a good one.
Yeah, perfect. I'm going to take that. Yeah, so yeah, Zoltan, absolutely. So we will simply use your updated specification as a reference point. So we talk about, I guess you're talking about also about ISO 9001, which will get updated now in 2026, and also IATF probably will come right after that. So, and in any case, we can use any reference materials to choose to have LUQA process. And actually, as a bonus, we'll be able to do gap analysis. So basically, once we have the new standard, LUQA can compare what you already have implemented and what is the gap between the new requirements, and you will have gap analysis. Normally, this is done by a consultant and takes much more time and cost, and this will be done immediately in a couple of seconds by our LUQA agent. Scott, if you have other questions.
Yeah, I've got one from Lars next. He said, what is the business setup for corporate group, number of users, or central directed for a bigger corporate company? So I think just in terms of setup and permissions and the organizational structure, Karesh, sounds like.
Yeah, so basically, if we have multiple plans, so we have a product called Quality Connect, which is designed to exactly do this. So basically, unify the audits from different plans and that you have basically an overview on the higher level. Um, Already, some customers are using it to see some different divisions, how the audits results are doing, or basically also you can check on different geographical areas. And yeah, so basically the permissions can be changed and controlled. So this is very easy to do with Quality Connect.
Perfect. That's great, Chris. Thank you. Um, so we're at time right now. We've got a few more. And Lars, if that did not answer your question fully, feel free to reach back out. We can include any clarifications or additional information when we send out the answers that we'll do. Let's just do one more since we're at time, and then we'll do everything else in a follow up. So Ming asked, "Is this a QMS?" Chris, I could take this one. I'm taking all the easy ones here. So it's not a QMS. Quality AI is meant to be used along with a QMS. The Quality AI Audit Manager is focused on the plant floor. It's meant to be easy and flexible for those specific tasks. And our pricing is way below that of what you'd see in an entire QMS. So. Um, yeah, I guess this is a good place to wrap it. We've got a bunch more. We'll send them out via email. We'll send it out the slides. We'll send out what Crash talked about, the conference and the slides for that as well, just if there's any interest there. And that's really it for today. Keep an eye on your email. You'll get all that information. And I just really want to thank you for your interest and spending time with us today. Karesh, any final words?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Thank you for being here. I hope I did not overwhelm you with all that information. So looking forward to working with you and looking forward for the next release. So really, you see every time it's get more intense and more information and more complex. So I'm looking really forward what's coming next.
Excellent. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate everything today. Thanks everybody for being on, taking the time out of your busy days, and we really appreciate it. Take care. Have a good day.
Okay, bye bye.